Hello. Welcome to Bad at Board Games.
Well, he's bad at board games.
My name's Brad Blake.
I'm Topher Ferguson.
We're bad at board games, so you didn't have to be.
Yes. Gosh, you're singing.
Yeah.
I forgot how much that gives me so many feelings. Today we're going to get into some topics and you're going to hear some ramblings of the minds of Brad and Toph.
Yes. So just to forewarn you, we're redoing the intro because this ended up being almost an hour-long video.
We talk a lot.
Yeah, but we're trying to break down, and it ends up being more like a podcast if you want to think of this. This is probably something you're going to want to listen to versus watch. I don't have any, graphics or B-roll or anything to take a look at. But what really makes us like a game? What feeling is it that is triggering us that, I feel smart, or I feel clever, or it made me feel this way or that way? What is it? And then the opposite on somewhat, the negatives of why I don't like something, why we don't like something, versus just talking about I like this game, I like that. What is it about that triggered something that triggered something?
Yeah.
We're trying to, and sometimes it's a little superficial, and other times we're like, oh, that's interesting. So just forewarning you, it's a long one.
It's a long one. Today, we're going to get all up in our feelings.
Such our feelings. You need a hug?
No. Nope. Nope. There's some feelings.
Yeah. Does that make you feel uncomfortable?
Very. It makes no joke. I can feel my heart rate increasing.
He really wants a really long table, 2 cameras at each other's house.
That's true. Zoom works wonders. I was gonna say those castle tables, where they're
where it's 12 feet long or something,
or 50. Have you ever been to Biltmore?
Giant 50 people table.
It's a lot of board game play.
So what are we talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about our feelings.
What are we going to talk about today?
Today we're going to talk about board games and how board games can make us feel.
So why do we like something, right? Why don't we like something? It's more trying to figure out not the game mechanics or the thing. What does it do when it's starting to sing, and why is it doing that, right? So trying
vice versa.
To analyze that. And I don't know if who I was talking with or where I came up with this one, but it was just kind of what is it that makes us kind of oh, this is hitting for me, and what's the meta around that? So do you want me to start, or do you want to start?
Yeah, why don't we just kind of conversation?
All right. So one of the things that I like, and is always when I find it does sing, is that movie experience. So let's say Nemesis. Regardless of if you like the mechanics of it or not, there's the tension in Nemesis, the betrayal part of it, and it's not necessarily I can't say all the hidden movement betrayal kind of things are that grand for me, but that one takes an IP that I like a lot, and you actually kind of they've been able to incorporate it into a game. Now, if you read about how long it took them years to develop that game. So it wasn't like a Kickstarter and they had an idea and they were trying to get it out, but he literally worked on that for years to try to create that alien experience. And I think he did a knockout job of it. And as you're playing and somebody sets the ship to explode on you or not, whatever it is, that tension in it, and when there isn't that tension, everybody's nobody picks the traitor. I don't think it's as fun, but there's something with that tension about not knowing of it. And then it makes you feel oh, this could be what it was if you were in that situation in the movie and stuff like that. I dig that.
That doesn't hit quite so much for me. Not that it's a bad thing, but that's usually, I don't gravitate towards games saying, oh, I really want to pick up this game because, oh my goodness, this is going to give me an immersive experience, in the theme. But I also don't watch movies like you do. I do binge shows and things like that, and you've got me hooked on some shows that so good. But I've never been that person that really gets into quite that side. I do love reading and getting into the things that way, but just a little bit different. So yeah, that's interesting that not that I hate it. It doesn't give me bad feelings or makes me say I don't want to play that game, but that's not something that I gravitate to. Nemesis is a fantastic game though. Yeah.
What about you? What's a game or go ahead.
I wasn't saying, but you also get into like Star Wars games.
Well,
like there's
but
a
it's
lot
repeating
of that.
like Rebellion though, but not all Star Wars games. Most Star Wars games garbage.
Sorry, and I don't remember which one's which because I don't do Star
But
Wars.
there's a Rebellion is like makes you feel like you're in the movie. But but that's what I mean. Like that is one like that one's an easy one to realize like why I like it. Like is it done well enough? But the Lord of the Rings game didn't feel like I was in the movie so much. I felt like it was a different version of Risk or it was cool and it had some cool movie moments in it, but it didn't feel the same. I wasn't creating my own story. Like Nemesis allows you kind of create your own story within that framework of betrayal and this and that. And Rebellion allows you to play the rebels or play against, Han Solo gets kidnapped versus, these different kinds of things, right? That happen, and you're creating your own version. But I think the things that breadcrumb you, like it's just going to be this and this, and you're repeating it, aren't as fun.
Yeah, that game.
And that game's more of a war. Like I said, it's more of a war game than a board game. So that's a different experience as well.
I forget the name of that game right now off the top of my head.
I don't remember either.
It's back there somewhere.
It's
but
the Lord of the Rings version of Rebellion.
Yeah. It was high on the BGG list for a while.
It's up there.
Well, it still is.
Yeah.
But I think for me, probably one of the things that I know a game sings. I like how you said that. When does a game sing? Is when all of a sudden, through a discovery process. And this is something that hits more in very complex, high strategy or tactical play, and usually engine building. But when all of a sudden, all these things that I have been in my mind working out, hoping that it's going to work, it not only starts to come together as a plan, but it exceeds the expectations that I had. And almost like there's moments, you've probably seen this, like I'll get giddy almost at the table playing it because all of a sudden it just clicks. Lisboa, for example, is kind of that way. All of a sudden it's like, I work on all these things and I'm pretty good at tactical play, much more than strategic play. But then when all of a sudden it just comes together and it's just like, okay, here we go. Like I'm ready. Like I'm good to go. Like that's where if I sat on my feet, I would be up in the chair sitting on my feet like, let's go, let's play, let's go. And it's that moment. And it happens in a lot of games, and it doesn't always have to be deep, complex games. But I think that is where I see it the most. And maybe that's because I've worked my way through lower complexity games to where when I get that discovery process, it's usually in something that's maybe less played for me and deeper complexity. But I love those moments of seeing it come together.
Yeah, but is that because it made you feel clever? This is kind of what we're trying to get at with this video, right? Like, what is it? Yes, that is the high. That's the easy to spot. But what is it? Why is that? Yeah. Why does that make you feel? I now love this game. This game went from like to like, oh crap! Look, Does it make you feel smart? Does it just make you feel like, like what is it that is in that gives you that endorphin of like, I like this now?
Yeah, for me, a big thing is the deep accomplishment. Like me validating the fact that I don't want to say I'm smart. I think I am smart, but it's the wow, I did that. Like, and it's coming together as I wanted. So it's not always. I'm not talking about winning because I can have fantastic plans and not win. I'm bad at board games for a reason. But it's that sense of discovery and awe, and then the accomplishment that comes with it. I think awe is one of the big words like that it's not just, wow, that's a good game, but wow, look at how this is playing out for me. And that's what gets, and like I said, I don't have to win. It's not the winning process so much for me. It's the, in my mind, accomplishing what I set out to do in a way that shocks me.
Right. So it came together, and then things started happening with your engine or with the play or with the strategy that you weren't even expecting. It like opened up you came down this funnel, and then it opened up in front of you way more that you just kept thinking you're going to hit this funnel, and then it was like wham! I've got all these options now because you had so much.
Yeah,
started to really hum for you. Like your engine just went.
Yeah.
Here's all the money. Here's all the things. Here's everything you need.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. My engine did what I wanted it to do, and then it worked for itself. Like I put it into plan, and it went, and it didn't just accomplish that one objective of me doing this, and this to get to this goal. It did that, and then all of a sudden my engine was working for me and continued working for me in a way that was maybe better than what I had thought I could do. Like my plan worked. I just didn't think big enough, and now all of a sudden it's blowing my mind with what it can actually do. Outside of that, I love that. Absolutely love that.
Very cool.
And it's hard to find that in games. Like that comes, I think, through discovery, and I think it might be different for me versus you.
Yeah, well, you like I mean,
we mention this all the time. Brad's really good at strategy, and you're getting better at tactical play. I'm better at tactical play initially. I think I'm getting better at strategic play. But what makes games sing for you and for me when it comes to that
we're not gonna like the
specific
same
thing,
things.
yeah, it ends up being different games. But I know you like that kind of an idea as well. At least I think you do. But yeah, that's for me the moment. Like, yeah, I got this. I like this. This game sings.
Yeah, and I don't know if I felt like I've had an engine going that really just kind of like opened it up. I'm definitely more trying to get from here to there, and I got there. So what am I going to do next? What's the next? I'm going to get from here to there and do the next thing, which is more strategic, right? Instead of like having an engine work for you.
You're an engineer.
Yeah.
But that is like when I say Brad's a good strategic player, that you are good at that. You have a goal, and you typically get that goal.
Yeah, whether it wins or typically it doesn't win though.
Yeah, well, yeah. But you and I don't always play to win. I mean, we play to play.
Well, yeah.
We want to win, obviously, but it's
yeah. Well, and I was trying to figure out one of the things I was thinking about this is somebody had commented, "Oh, I'm surprised Great Western Trail isn't one of my top played games." Well, I don't enjoy it on BGA. I don't like the implementation of it. And I can't tell you why, but I love it playing it. Right. And so why do I like playing, like the first time we played Great Western Trail 2nd edition, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, and I finally got it because I hated the theme. I wanted nothing to do with herding cows to Kansas City. But then, you watch I can't remember, no pun intended. They're English, but they have 500,000. Shut up and sit down.
Yeah.
And they're so good at getting you excited about something and, being this little commercial or whatever. So I'm like, I want to play it. And then as I was playing it, I was like, we were in the middle of it. I'm just like, man, I really like this game. And I think I still kind of feel like, I wonder if it's just kind of one of these, it's still a theme based thing, but then I like the, what do you call it? The mechanic along with the theme. And it still might I kind of felt like I was driving or trying to get cows to the market, right? And I don't know what it was about that or the old Western movies or something stupid, but it was just like, I'm enjoying the mechanic. I think it was like when you go into a movie and you're like, this movie's going to be garbage. I don't care if I like it or not. And then it's like, it exceeds your expectations. And then when you go to the movie and you think this is going to be the greatest movie ever, and it's like horrible. Where were your expectations kind of matter as well. But, I was trying to think with Great Western Trail, what, you saw me, I literally lit up when in the middle of it. I'm like, man, I really like this game, but I think it was the enjoying the theme, enjoying the yeehaw at the end, when you get your guys there, but then that puzzle of how am I going to make this work so that when I finally get to the end here, I can do something, right? And not take negative points and so forth. And there was just something with that whole puzzle. I still have a hard time putting my finger on it. What that intangible thing was. Because most games, I can enjoy a Euro game, but this one was just different.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure what it was at that time.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy all of them. They all give me that, bit of a boost.
The Great Western Trails.
All of them.
Oh, yeah,
all three of them.
Yeah. I think with Great Western Trail, I also was not interested in the theme. I think it's fun. I think it turned out fun, but you touched on this. The moment when the mechanics drive the theme and the theme drives the mechanics, that cyclical thing is where, like you said, you go into a movie and you're like, I'm not going to like this movie. And then all of a sudden you do. That's something that I think works with these games. I talk about theme a lot, but it's when the theme, even if it's a theme I don't enjoy, works, that it's great. Yeah, I wonder what it is. You do. Y'all, when I say that he lit up with that game, he admits it. There was a moment when all of a sudden he was like, I like this. It hit. You've had that with a few games. But Great Western Trail, yeah. I love that game too. I love that game more so because of the mechanics. So for me, that one's not hitting probably in the same level of, I don't want to use the word emotion, but
well, yeah. Why does it make? Why do we like the things we like? Right?
Yeah.
Why are you tuning in to find out what our BGG rating is on something? Right? What and trying to meta understand that at a different level. I don't have any childhood memories of Cowboys. It was not like it was hitting. I wanted Return to Dark Tower to hit that, and it kind of does, but it still wasn't the same. I can enjoy Return to Dark Tower based on what it is, but it wasn't it wasn't the same. I still like these other games better.
Yeah. For me, with Great Western Trail, what I like about that, what makes me so excited about that game is the fact that the mechanics have so many options. So I guess it's not the mechanics, the gameplay has so many options of things to do that maybe this is my ADHD brain. It keeps my brain focused. It keeps me always thinking a couple steps ahead of trying to figure out what it is. It's not so much the engine building, although there is a big part of that in there. It's also there's so many things that I can do, and there's too many options for me to do them all. That's another thing I absolutely love about games. That's when a game sings, is when there's so many things to do. That's why I like the complex games so much, I think, is I have too many options and my brain keeps focused the whole time, as opposed to getting distracted and thinking of other things and stuff. That Great Western Trail is great for that, because it allows me to focus. It allows, because there's just so much. Gosh, there's so much. It's such a good game. That's such a good one.
So you've talked about Lisboa, you've added on to the Great Western Trail, but you like Cthulhu Death May Die.
Yeah.
So what's the dichotomy? What's the...
Yeah, one of the things with that game, and it spans across the Cthulhu, so the Arkham games, is the theme. I do like the Arkham horror theme a lot for some reason. So that is part of the enjoyment. I think taking that same game and reskinning it wouldn't hit the same, kind of like for you. You mentioned Nemesis. I think reskinning that with a different theme probably wouldn't hit the same as what Nemesis does. So that's a big part of it. The other part of that, and this is another thing that I do love, is the anxiety side of that game. It pushes my anxiety to the point that it's still a fun, anxious experience, as opposed to moving across that into panic.
So we're talking Cthulhu, not Arkham, right?
Cthulhu Death May Die.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Arkham Horror does the same thing. And they do it a little bit different, but they both have that same idea. And maybe that's why I like the theme, because Cthulhu drives you insane, and that's a big part of it. But it's the anxiousness, I'm leveling up, but at the same time, I'm almost permanently injuring myself. Am I going to go over the edge? Can I toy that edge? Or these... I'm on fire,
right.
Or I've got the cultists that are swarming me. What are we going to do? All these things that are happening to me, that I do get into this deep moment of anxiousness.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the good type of anxiousness. It's the anxiousness that I really enjoy. My hunch is you probably have a similar thing to war games, that you get into that level of, your heart rate increases a little bit. You get that excited, maybe nervous, but it's not too excited. It's not too nervous. It's the anxiousness that's done just right. I also really like cooperative play a lot. I don't like conflict with other players. You mentioned that earlier today, and I didn't think about that. I don't. I've said that a long time. I don't like war games. I'm not a war gamer. I like Euro games a lot. I'm not very much a Ameritrash gamer. I like the strategy side, but I love the cooperative play. And that is another huge thing with Cthulhu Death May Die that really makes that game for me. But I think the biggest thing for me with that game is the willingness to put myself into an anxious situation that all we can do is laugh about it because it's so terrible, and you're right at that edge of maybe it's too much, almost too much to make it enjoyable, but it keeps me focused and wanting to go and push the boundaries of what anxiousness can be for me.
Yeah, and for me, because we both like that. It's both in our top 10s. It will probably be in our top 10s for quite a while of all time. I like the feeling like I became a superhero out of it. So the first time I've played it, when I demoed it at Gen Con, I hated it because I died within a few minutes. But the guy this is where you have to help people not die. You have to help them enjoy the game, whether it's Zombicide, Cthulhu Death May Die. If there is player elimination in it, or help them out, show them how to do things. It's not a Rambo kind of game, and you think that going in, you have to quickly learn it. You're working together, but it's as you level up, it's more fun. More fun than even just D&D, but you're doing it so much faster. You got an hour, 2 hours, maybe, in this game, and you're going to go right up to the edge. You're just a superhero blasting all these guys, and all these monsters are showing up and all these things that are happening. But then push it one step too far and you're dead. But if you're setting it up for everybody to win over the next turn, then it's kind of cool. Or I'm going to, my son ran through a whole bunch of enemies to get them to all chase him, so that he cleared a path for the rest of us in this one game. It was a cool ending, but that there's something about I can lose this game, right? And it's not just I can lose the race, but it's I can die. I think that's probably something within Cthulhu Death May Die that I like a lot. Is my whole party can get wiped, or this bad thing's going to happen. It's that horrible thing can happen, and how am I going to make sure? Am I smart enough? Am I clever enough? Can I work this around enough to then not die? And look, you feel successful. There's something about that, in that game that really, it makes you feel smart, but it makes you feel like, oh, I was able to beat the bad guy, beat the game.
Yeah. There's a moment of camaraderie in it. One of the things I do not like in board games is player elimination, and that has player elimination, but maybe this is our group, and as we play, we try to make sure that nobody ever dies. And so there are moments of, let me go do that and almost sacrifice my next couple plays just so that you can get in a room and heal a little bit, or something. So we kind of mitigate that ourselves. But yeah, you can get some very big moments in that game, and it too, because Brad's all of a sudden we got this. He's watch this. or he'll actually give out, he doesn't metagame, but he'll give out, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this. He gives us a plan, and it's okay, here we go. And sure enough, sometimes it doesn't work, but usually it does. And that's,
we all do different things. We all see different ways, but that's what makes you feel like, oh, look, I started with a gun and now I'm killing everything as soon as I walk in a room.
I've never thought about that game. I never thought superhero type thing, but yeah, I can see that. I don't think that does it for me as much, but I can see you doing that, because you do. you're good at that. And same with Zombicide, Marvel Zombies, things like that. You have that same ability of kind of being that.
I think Cthulhu Death May Die makes you feel more like a superhero with powers and abilities than Zombicide, because you get so much more. Zombicide, you're going to get 4 things maybe, and you're never going to get to that 4th. Rarely ever.
Yeah.
1 out of 100 times is what, 1 out of 20.
Mm-hmm.
But Cthulhu Death May Die, you're going to go right up to the edge, and you're going to have all these powers unlocked as you go.
And you get to control what those powers are. Like you get to...
You're not going to be able to get everything on your tableau, but you can say, like, I'm going to be, damage dealer, or I'm going to be the hidden person, or I'm going to be tough and not going to be able to kill me because I'm so tough.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Such a good game.
Very good game. Very good game.
What is it about war games or conflict? Because I hate conflict with players usually, but you like that.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was really into 40K, or even, I've played Legion, I've played about any combat game you can think of. Something about reading all the complex rules and learning the rules better than somebody else, so that when they say, oh, I can do this, and you're like, no, that's not how the rule reads. There's something about that. And like, if you want to be good at those games, you have to know the rules. The general will dictate winning or losing the game. And part of being a general is building the most brutal list possible, right? And then building it and painting it. Like you're spending hundreds of hours before you even put your, if you're going to be competitive, before you even place something on the table.
That sounds brutal.
But like, think about like, if I spent $100 on a game and I spent 100 hours prepping to even play the game, that's $1, and I haven't even played the game yet, and all that enjoyment. Like, it's like reading a book. How many hours do you spend reading a book?
Lots.
I'm reading a bunch of rule books, and I'm reading like, oh, if I do this, I can do this better than that person, or if this, that, and the other, and then crushing your opponent. But it's the same thing. 40K is not fun if you just barrel over your opponent. If your list is so much better, if you're so much better than somebody else, it's not fun. It's never fun to just blast through somebody in any game. But when it's like right down to the end, or it was really close, or you're not sure, and the points add up, then it's fun. So
interesting. I had said for quite a while I want to play 40K at some point just to try it out. I don't want to build an army. I don't want to do something like that, but just to see. And I really don't think I do. I really don't think that that's going to be something that I think I want to like it because my friend likes it.
But it's the antithesis of what you like.
It is.
It is absolutely 100% all conflict. I'm going to kill your troops. Your troops are going to die.
I want nothing to do with it.
It's like don't
War
worry about it.
War of the Ring. That was the name of the game. War of the Ring. I wanted I didn't even enjoy
like
that.
10 times worse than that.
I know. And y'all, it was bad for me. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, the steamrolling, I think, is something you say this quite frequently with games, that you didn't like a game because you or somebody got steamrolled, or
right.
That experience. I think a lot of us have that experience, especially when we are newer to playing, and maybe we don't have a defined group, or we're navigating between people, and all of a sudden, or maybe you don't have as much experience with the mechanics to master them, and you're saying
to talk about Food Chain Magnet would be an excellent. I've never played it, but like, if you don't know how to start or know which way to go, like, you've lost out after turn 1 because you didn't do whatever the meta is,
whatever those coin games. But there's a game that Brad does not like that breaks my heart. And I think it was because of the steamroll nature. You've mentioned that a few times, that the reason you don't like is because you got steamrolled in it, and you know what.
But it's also area control.
No, that's not what I'm thinking. But
which one are you talking about?
One of my absolute favorite games of all times.
Oh, Terraforming Mars.
Terraforming Mars. Yeah.
Well, but Terraforming Mars is, but that's part of the meta, right? I have never played it. I don't know what any of the cards are, so it doesn't matter what I pick. I just end up getting trashed.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you're not going to help the player that doesn't know what they're doing, they're not going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's probably why I like at least Arc Nova better, because we started out on the equal playing you know, and so it was like, okay, well, this and that, and you learn a few things, and you play a few people, and you can start to see some other.
Mhm.
But like, I'm so far removed from ever being good at it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I need to figure out how to better teach a game like that. And I don't ever want to steamroll somebody. And like I keep mentioning this for the last how many years have we had this channel now? I'm not somebody. Yes, I want to win, but I don't want to win at the sacrifice of killing somebody in like steamrolling over them. Like I don't think that's right. That's a hard game because there's 500 and some cards in the base game.
Well,
and so trying to figure out what's going on with it, but also because of your ability to be a strategic player so well, you can never do that in that game. You can never build a strategy long term in that game because you're never going to get the same cards twice. If you ever even see some of the cards a second time.
Exactly.
So yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about the Simon game.
There's lots of
the Viking game. You own it. I don't.
Oh, Blood Rage.
That's what I thought you were going to talk
Yeah, and that's another one. Although I wouldn't say you got steamrolled.
Oh, I did.
Did you?
I got destroyed. Yeah. That's what I thought you were talking about.
Oh.
So
I guess maybe. I don't know. That game I don't take too seriously. I love it. I really do. I don't know why I like that. That should not be a game I like.
I wanted to like it, but like it's another kind of area control game.
But yeah,
you know, like it still is. It's just I'm not good at that mechanic. So part of like, and this is the other side of the feelings, like what makes you not like a game, and not being good at something is definitely not something like, you know, you don't want to experience. I'm not good at this. This is not a mechanic I'm good at. And I know going in, I'm going to be mid or not win. So there's no competition.
Yeah.
So then it's not fun.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the other side of the feelings is like, what makes you not like something? It's like, you know, whatever it is about that, haven't played it enough. I understand it, but it doesn't mean I understand the way to win. Right. Yeah. There's something there that is lacking that doesn't click for me yet.
Yeah, area control is not something that I tend to gravitate towards, and I don't know why. But I do enjoy it more than you do.
But you like the Inish.
I did. That's the thing.
Like, I think you like more area control than you think.
Yeah, and this is where I haven't thought deep enough about it. Like, why is it that, for me, area control I equate to conflict? Because it is. And I don't really like conflict. That's one of my negative feeling type things. Like, why do I say no to a game? Or go into it thinking I'm not going to like it. But for some reason, Inish I really did enjoy. Blood Rage I really did enjoy. Like there's a handful of these area control games that it's like, wait a minute, I enjoy that game, but why? Because I really don't like the conflict. Like I really do not like Risk. And there's more than area control and Risk, but that's a big part of it.
Yeah, to me, I guess I consider area control being like, hey, I flipped a card, my guys beat your, like, it's not dice. Risk is a lot more.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it.
I almost don't consider those area controls. Okay. Like the general, Inish is like typical area control.
Yeah.
Blood Rage has that in it, where there's some like, I'm getting, I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah, I don't know why.
But I do like Kemet.
I have not played Kemet yet.
Yeah. But I mean, that's area control, and it's forced to be combat area control. And that may be more why I like it more, because it's like, it's area control trying through combat.
Yeah.
Okay. More so than it is in area control based on, well, you didn't want to play it because it is
a lot of combat. Yeah.
You get points based on combat.
Yeah.
More so in Kemet than any other game. I think that's probably why I like Kemet area control. I like Ankh, and Ankh is area control, but I don't know what it is about it that's just, it shifts enough, that you're, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. Maybe it's because more of my kids, and they like it, and I've enjoyed playing it with my kids. It could be, but that gets into another aspect. I think you brought it up, like, do you like a game with or without the people you're playing with?
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit a while ago, and I got thinking about board game conventions or board game meetups, and a game that you really enjoy or you should really enjoy, and then you absolutely hating it because of the people that you're playing with. That's a big part of it. But I think that's an external thing. That's something else. One of the things I jotted down, I mentioned player elimination. I don't like that, but cutthroat play, I absolutely do not like. And there's a couple moments where we have had fun with kind of cutthroat play.
I like it if you know you're going into it and that's what the game is.
Well, see, and I still don't like that.
Yeah.
But it's that conflict side of it. I don't like that side of it. I want us all to sit down and do our solitaire puzzle.
He does not like his things being stolen. He hates it. Like, he worked all this time, and I'm like, I worked all the time to get that, and now you took it. Like, he hates that. It's like, it's as though you're shooting his baby or something. Like, he like, you know, and like but that's the whole point of the game.
Yeah.
You know, is to like we were playing Brew. He didn't like Brew. And to me, it was just funny. He still won, but it was like, I was doing something, and I'm like, oh, I can take that from you.
He was just getting everything, like, just robbed
except
left
winning.
and right. I don't know how I won that game.
I was getting everything except to win, but
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's a valid game style. There's hundreds and hundreds, thousands of games like that in our hobby, but for me, I don't know why. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Maybe that's what it is.
We got a little game. It's going to kickstart, and you didn't play it, but me and Alex and Ashby did, and it was all take that. It's this little cute cartoony thing. It was so take that. Like, Alex had, I just kept trying to build out my little factory or whatever it is, and so that I could have more and more and more. And Alex didn't do that, and so that I was just able to be just like.
Sounds wonderful.
He likes take that games, but he did not like this game.
That's funny. He really does like take that.
It made me laugh. I hadn't laughed that hard in a long time.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's see. What else so other things that I look for in a game, to moving along to a different idea. See, conflict. I don't want to talk about this anymore. How this is going to come out bad. How boring is the game going to be? I don't know how to kind of break that out into more nuanced discussion, but is the game really going to be something that we want to sit and play, or are we just going to kind of want to give up on it?
Such as like,
I don't know, because we tend to not play those games.
What game would you think would be boring? Well, you didn't like TI, but you played it.
Yeah. Okay. TI. Let's go with TI.
Twilight Imperium,
I don't like Twilight
for those
Imperium.
who don't know.
Yeah, I don't like it. Now, Twilight Imperium, I don't necessarily think it falls into the boring side, although I did feel that way, and I think the reason why I felt that way was because when I get into conflict, when I feel that conflict, I shut down. Oh, maybe we are unpacking things. Let's let Toph unpack his brain and figure out why he likes and doesn't like things. But, Twilight Imperium, I think, is a great game. Like, they clearly knew what they were doing. They built a great game. It's not for
fabulous,
me.
Yeah.
See, I don't. The mechanics, I think they did a fantastic game. I just did not like it. I also was playing with your boys, and you three are wargamers. You three get off on combat, on fighting, on eliminating players, on... So
Toph's over there with the turtle people trying to turtle his whole empire.
And Liam just had that, like, what is it, the Death Star?
Yeah,
or
he
something?
went with the ones that actually start with the sun sphere.
Yeah, and it just was there following me, like, just, and they can manipulate. That's another thing I don't like, manipulation of, like, yeah, I don't like that part of it. But for me, that game got very boring for me. It's also 18,000 years long. Like, it never ends. You have to dedicate 72 hours just to learning the rules, and then 140 hours to sitting down to play.
Just like Through the Ages.
But see, Through the Ages is fun. You're building this tableau. You've got all this going on. It takes time, but you're building Through the Ages. So
it moves like molasses in the winter.
No, it's so much fun.
You got a piece of wheat. Here's a yellow cube. That's your turn.
How awesome is that, though? You got a resource.
One piece of wheat.
Into a resource,
and 10 hours later, now you have 10 pieces of wheat.
Yeah.
Fun.
So, for me, that's not boring. Eurogamer through and through. But TI did get boring. And I hate that because I wanted to like it because you were so excited about it. I knew I wouldn't like it going into it, but I thought I'd like it more than I did.
Well, and I think I would, but as we talk about like and don't like in movies. Like I wanted it to be so much better than it ended up being.
Mm-hmm.
Like I still think it's a good game, and I really can appreciate it all and everything that it does. And I would be happy if I found that 5-person game group once a month or once every 3 months where you could learn to play it and play it multiple times a year. I would enjoy that, but it wouldn't be like. But I don't have that, right? So it's just, but I could be that person.
Yeah.
I could absolutely be that person.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what most people don't like about that game is the length. And it's like, I don't mind that at all. Like, Through the Ages takes a lot of time. Arkham Horror 2nd Edition can take an hour. It can take 8. It just depends. I don't mind that.
But I found Through the Ages boring as all get out. It's like one of my most hated games.
Oh, I'm so sad.
I hate it so much. And I have tried on the app. I mean, I have tried it multiple ways, and I just
see. I want to find a gaming group to sit down and do that. Maybe not every month, once a month,
right?
But a few times a year. Let's sit down every 3 months or so, and that's what we need to find. 2 groups.
There we go.
One for you, one for me. We'll get together. We can even be in the same space. I'll be at my table, you be at yours, and so.
We'll play all the things.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about some things we like and what they're singing for us. Have we talked enough about what we don't like?
Well, I mean, I've mentioned a handful of things. Things, I guess, thinking about the internal feeling side, maybe more than what the gameplay is. Things that make me say I'm not going to want a game. Obviously, I mentioned it makes me feel bored or makes me retreat. Those kind of feelings. But if I get angry, not anxious, but angry, I don't want that. Like that kills it for me. And usually that anger comes in at being constantly attacked, feeling like I can't do anything, going to make a move, and all of a sudden somebody, not just blocks it, but is consistently blocking it. I don't like that. If I mentioned feeling lethargic, just kind of like, just got to get through this. Like I have no feelings either way. I don't care here. Just, throw a card and just to get done. Like I don't want to be that way. I don't want to play with people that are that way either, but I don't want a game to make me feel that way either. Frustrated can go both ways. I think good frustration can be very good in games, and we've had that in games that we've played, and we've thoroughly enjoyed it even though we've been frustrated. But again, when it gets into that slog of I can never do anything, or the rules make no sense, and therefore I can never do anything because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's funny that you and I play some extremely high complex games, and then there's other games that it's like I just can't wrap my head around the rules. I don't know what I'm doing. D&D. I don't understand D&D. It's funny
because it's open world.
Maybe
there's not enough rules for you.
Maybe that's what it is. But it's like my gaming group, and I love the people I play with. I know them. I know 3 of them quite well. One very well. Another couple I'm starting to get to know. They all know the game, and I don't. Like they've all done campaigns together, and I'm just joining in, and it frustrates me. I think part of it frustrates me internally because these are things I love doing. I love building worlds. I love being imaginative. I love theater and acting and coming up with things and being spontaneous on the spot. I love those things, and I just do it. Like I enjoy hanging out with my friends. I enjoy being there and being included. But when we sit down and we start playing, I'm just there, and that's probably me. But yeah, so those are things that I've learned I need to steer away from, the things that I know is going to make me feel that way. And for me, that's conflict and war games and hidden movement. I've learned I do not like hidden movement games. So now varying levels, obviously, I'll sit and I'll play my management with you, but I'm never going to suggest it, but you like it. So I'll play it with you. I don't hate it. It doesn't make me angry, but it does make me somewhat frustrated. And it's not that I can't find you, because I have, I want to play Fury of Dracula. I love Letters from Whitechapel. It's hidden movement. I don't know what it is about almost all the other hidden movement games. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't like it. I love detective work. Like,
Yeah.
you would think I would like it, but so.
Yeah. And we're probably getting pretty long-winded. I guess the last thing I can think of is like, and I think you talked about it, is like, I would almost call it like anything that's a slog.
Mm-hmm.
Like the return on your investment, like the time, like I don't feel like I'm smart. I don't feel like I'm getting more powerful. I don't feel, those are feelings. Those aren't mechanics. It's just like, well, I did this. I did all of this to get a piece of wheat. Like that. So what? I mean, it doesn't make you feel like you got any reward for the effort. So it's almost, what's the reward at the end? Like at the end of the turn, at the end of the phase, what is there's something, because I like Mosaic. I don't like Through the Ages, but I liked Mosaic. I wasn't sure I liked Civ games, kind of like Area Control, but I like Mosaic a lot. Now it's not as crunchy, but it's moving. I'm not sitting there waiting for my turn. Definitely don't like that. I don't like waiting 30 minutes for the game to get back to me. Or I want to be thinking so hard for 30 minutes, I don't realize it's been 30 minutes. Like, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that slog, that.
Vindication. Would you put that into the slog category like you're
talking?
Okay.
No. But Through the Ages to me is a slog. I think we've had a couple of Euro games. I mean, and Euro games are going to be more like that than others. I just can't name them off the top of my head. I mean, I typically like the process and trying to do it, but sometimes they're just a slog. Or you don't understand it. Like, not understand. So I do, this is before we leave, like, not understanding the game is really just like, I hate this. Like, and it happens more to me on BGA than anywhere else, because somebody will invite you to a game and you want to play it, and I don't have time to read the rules, or I read it just enough to try to like get it. It's rare instance that if I don't know, like I'm playing Wolves on BGA or finally finished, I understood enough of the mechanic, like you're flipping cards, and if you can flip two cards and get them to be the same color, then you can move or you can do something, or like, but there was enough that I didn't know. Well, like I never want to play it again. Like I hated it. Like, and I think that's when you have Terraforming Mars expert and then, hey, I'll play Terraforming Mars with you, and you don't get it and you're not getting any help. There's zero help on BGA. Like you can't even really text back and forth unless you're playing real time and on the phone or Discord. Like you don't get it. Like, what do I need to do here? How do I need to do this? You don't get any of that. And it's the most extreme version of playing a board game, and especially when you don't know it, it ends up just being like, I want nothing to do with this. I've had a few of those. It's like I don't know how to play the game, and I understand enough, and I don't understand enough to even like do the things that I want to do. And so I'm out.
Yeah.
I'll finish it gruelingly and then I'm out. But I think that goes to like why I intentionally try to help people with the strategy. And if they say, no, I'm good, like Ashby will do that. And I'm like, no, I want to try my own thing. Then it's fine. But like most people won't ask for it. So I'm just kind of like, just so you know, 3 or 4 turns from now, you're going to want this. Now you don't have to do that, but I do this because it does this later. I don't know what happens if you don't.
Yeah.
Right. So I kind of like just let people understand, especially if they're going to make a bad move, like I've done that, just so you know, and I like got destroyed because I didn't do this. Yeah. Versus just that hint. Oh, you should go and get that boat. Like you might want to get a boat or something. Like that's too subtle. It's like, if you want to have any chance of winning this game, you're going to want to get that boat. I don't know if it's this turn or the next turn, but you need to make sure it's in your thought process.
What game was that? You just played that?
No, but this is something else.
I know. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm using it as an example. But we played Feast for Odin. But that's different.
Yeah. Brad's really good at teaching games that way. I am of the other mindset. I want to discover it myself. It kind of goes back to, I think, the first thing I said.
Some people do, but at the same time, like, I don't want you to never want to play it again.
Yeah. And there have been times that I've been so thankful that you've immediately said, okay, Toph, when you do this, or make sure that as you go through this game, you're doing this. And there's a game, I cannot think right now what it is, but I see so many different ways to victory in it. and you don't as much. And I forget what game there's a couple games like that, but there's one and it's right there. But that's where I don't want somebody sometimes to tell me go for this, because I want to discover all the different things, and sometimes fail spectacularly along the way. But
well, it's fine if you're both, but if you're both learning at the same pace, that's different.
Like I wish when
if you're an expert and somebody isn't,
like
we'll go back to
Mars.
We'll go back to one of your worst games. It was you were a learning game.
Oh yeah.
And you played with tournament competitive players.
Yes. Yeah.
How was that game for you?
Oh, it was downright terrible.
Right.
Absolutely,
but that's my point.
Terrible.
Like it was a learn how to play this game, and then he was in with tournament players.
Yeah.
And they tournament played him, blocked him, kept him from doing anything.
Yeah.
As you could in a tournament, which I get, but that's not what the game was.
I know. I signed up specifically for a learn how to play session, and I was the only one learning.
Like you can do that to people, even if you're not even you don't realize you're doing it. You need to,
and
don't let your competitive spirit out. You can still win and let it be competitive instead of you got 10 points, I got 100.
Mm-hmm.
Don't play like that.
Yeah. I think I
That's
did
not
that to
fun.
you, and I didn't realize I did with Terraforming Mars.
Well, I don't think it was like, but you let me discover it all. But yes, you didn't teach me how to play the game.
No,
you taught me the rules.
I taught you the
didn't
rules,
teach me how to
but
play the game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's interesting. Board games, this hobby is so absolutely fantastic, and it's so complexly different from one person to another, from one game to another. So it's kind of hard to wrap our minds around kind of all these different things. We might dive deeper at some point into one or something else, but
as though an hour-long video about this isn't long enough for you.
I know, which is why maybe we'll move on. But anyways, I'm curious to know if you had to number one thing, what is it about a game, or if you want to give a few ideas. What are your thoughts about what makes board games sing, or you say no, I'm going to pass and I'm going to play something else. So leave a comment down below. Let us know.
And just remember, no matter how you play, whether it's solo with family or friends,
enjoy whatever games you're bringing to the table.
Have a great night.